This is a major turning point for this Eagles offense as a former undrafted free agent is making his case for a starting spot in this offense. With the injuries to Smith and Lemon being at the forefront, there could be a spot open for the second year wideout. We'll discuss the hype around this idea, what Coach Sirianni has to say about it, and how it's not that crazy if this former undrafted free agent could be getting some starting reps going into week one of the 2026 season. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here with another edition of Eagles Digest. Hope you guys are having a great day so far as we discuss this idea on the Philadelphia Eagles and their offensive identity. Because right now, DeVonta Smith and Makai Lemon are on the shelf. They are injured right now, so the Eagles have to go to other options. And an option that they have decided to go with, and someone who is making, strides to, be on this active roster for a second straight year is former undrafted free agent Darius Cooper. Now, Darius Cooper was a fan favorite during the preseason last year. He was someone who a lot of people wanted him to make the 53-man roster, and he ended up making it. He ended up doing really well in the preseason. And as someone who, had to go through, an undrafted free agent process, and usually those are, not a lot of undrafted free agents even, get a spot to start in, meaningful games, but he was able to last year. And he was thrown in during, a very tumultuous year when it came to the offense, but he was able to, get some reps in the NFL. So really, and going into this second year, Darius Cooper, he's been really turning heads you know, during training camp because a lot of people have said some high things about him. Tariq Woolen has said that he has had, some great battles with Darius Cooper, and he just keep learning as he goes into year two. And the best ability is availability. So if Darius Cooper's out there and he is healthy, that Jalen Hurts is going to get a lot of chemistry with him and trying to build that up for both him and Darius Cooper. So when we look at the comments made by Coach Sirianni on Darius Cooper, you could be very encouraged that he is going to have some sort of role during this season, saying how there's still a lot of time left. He's having a good camp, Sirianni said via Bleeding Green Nation's Brandon Lee Goutman, saying it's about consistent on a daily basis. He's done a good job being consistent on a daily basis, and he makes some really good catches, really elite hands. And we know he's tough and things that he can do, but I've been pleased with where he is. So that is a very good compliment to Darius Cooper as someone who is still trying to battle and trying to, make a name for himself. I mean, that is at the end of the day, that is something that you got to do if you are Darius Cooper, is trying to get that opportunity. And he is someone who is taking advantage of the opportunity right now with DeVonta Smith and Makai Lemon. They haven't practiced in a week, so both Cooper and Dontavian Wicks, they're getting some meaningful reps. They are the top two wide receivers on this team in training camp, and that is going to be something that Jalen Hurts is going to have the advantage of, and this whole offense is going to have the advantage of with being available and getting your reps here. And Cooper, he was in the offense last year. I know it's a different offense, but him working with Dontavian Wicks and Sean Mannion, it's going to, he's going to be a lot more ahead than even DeVonta Smith and Makai Lemon because he's already had those reps and he is trying to, really get out there and show what he can do. And I think when you look at his total, makeup as his profile from, being an undrafted free agent, you could be very encouraged on really, rooting for this guy because this was someone who I was rooting for last season to make the 53-man roster. And he's someone who, he's not a big wide receiver. He's 5'11, 210 pounds, but he does have those elite hands. And at the end of the day, if you're a wide receiver, you need to make sure you can catch the ball. And if he has elite hands and he's not going to drop the ball, that is something that a lot of people are going to, want out of their wide receivers, whether you are the number one in the depth chart or you are the last guy on the depth chart. And he had a lot of not a lot of workload, I wouldn't say that, but he had a little bit of workload last year, having 9 receptions, 92 yards last season in an offense that just we know that wasn't good under Kevin Patullo, but he was able to get some opportunities. So I think that is always good with someone who is an undrafted free agent getting out there, getting those opportunities that you really need in the NFL because being an undrafted free agent from Tarleton State. I know a lot of people probably in the comments and viewing this video probably don't know where Tarleton State is. So knowing that you came from there and were able to make the roster, that's pretty impressive from Darius Cooper. And I think when you look at the rest of the wide receiver room for the Philadelphia Eagles at this point. You got Makai Lemon, you got Hollywood Brown, you got DeVonta Smith, and you got Dontavian Wicks. And when you're looking at trying to get, fine tune that wide receiver room, it just all depends on what Lemon can show in this offense. And I'm not saying that Makai Lemon is not going to start over Darius Cooper at any point, but when it comes to week one, when it comes to week two, and you need to ramp up Makai Lemon, you could see that Darius Cooper is going to go out there and try and compete. So, it really doesn't matter if you're the number one guy taken in the first round or the undrafted free agent. If you're able to go out there and make it and take advantage of your opportunity, it's only going to make everyone else better. It's going to make Makai Lemon better. He is going to have a little bit more pressure on him. And then that is going to test on how the rookie wide receiver is able to, step up in his game. If he sees that Darius Cooper is taking advantage of his opportunity, well, once Lemon gets back, maybe he can showcase some things that really shuts the door on Darius Cooper getting more time. So I think it is good having this competition for, the wide receivers right now because it's a wide receiver room that outside of DeVonta Smith and maybe Dontavian Wicks at this point, we don't know where this wide receiver room is going to go. Is this going to be, multiple guys used at once, kind of like a Sean McVay offense where you don't really have, outside of Puka Nakua, well, you do have Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams, but you're showcasing a lot of other guys in this offense. So is it going to be a wide receiver by committee or is there going to be a total number one, number two, and number three? So that's going to be the big question going into this year. But honestly, I'm all about competition. I'm all about Darius Cooper taking advantage of his opportunities at this point. And, you really got to be, happy to see a undrafted free agent really putting some pressure on the guys that are getting, paid or have the expectations to, be a critical point in this offense or a critical focal point in this offense, because that is only going to make everyone better. And that's going to make Darius Cooper hungry even more. So I think going into this preseason, that's going to be something that I'm going to look out for. Is Darius Cooper out there? Is he making plays like he did last preseason? Is he able to take, a step up from last year? And that's going to turn a lot of heads in the Eagles organization, and that's going to come from that's going to turn into some uncomfortable conversations within the offense saying, hey, we can't leave Darius Cooper off the field. So really interesting to see how that works. Let me know down in the comments what you guys feel about Darius Cooper at this point in time. Do you feel like it's good to have that healthy competition, or do you feel that Darius Cooper is going to get a starting spot in this Eagles offense? Let me know down in the comments, and make sure you guys are subscribed to Eagles Digest. So our goal is to be at 2,500 subscribers here on the channel, and we really appreciate all the support. It is free, and we all appreciate free stuff in this world. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on anything when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to have more coverage when it comes to the Birds throughout this week and into the preseason game. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And as always, let's go Birds.